seen the poster growing up. Everything I learned in life, I learned in kindergarten. You know, the poster, play nice, put things away, don't hit people. That one's kind of important. Okay, it's good that you've all seen that. That is going to help my talk out a little bit. Again, my name is David Gaines. I am the CEO of La Terza Coffee. We're a specialty coffee roaster here in Cincinnati, and we're trying to bring the absolute best cup of coffee in the world to your cup every morning. We do that through three things. We work closely with our farmers. We meticulously roast each bean to bring its fullest flavor profile. So what is the natural flavor of that coffee? And we deliver the coffee fresh to all of our customers. So all the coffee that you had this morning was just roasted 2 days ago. I love coffee, but my passion and my personal why around this business is the social enterprise element. We're really working hard to love other people in the everyday aspects of our business. When I talk about social enterprise, it reminds me of that poster. There's a lot of different definitions of social enterprise or social impact. Is it double bottom line, triple bottom line? Is it a give back? For me, if you peel all of that back and look through the clutter, the most basic definition is the fact that social impact is about loving other people through your business. Or another way to say it is treat other people the way you want to be treated. That golden rule, that thing that we learned in kindergarten. Business at its core is designed to fill needs anyway, right? We see a need in the marketplace. How do we look for solutions and have income? So in my experience with La Terza Coffee, I've identified that there are 7 key areas and 7 key groups of people that we impact. And it doesn't matter if you're for-profit or nonprofit or in education. How do we, the goal of social impact is how do we grow in love in each of these 7 areas and do it in very small steps. This first area is the supply chain. That is the backbone of La Terza Coffee. We work really hard to work closely with our farmers, with importers around the world who are hands on the ground, in increasing growing practices, working to create education programs and co-ops. Coffee, unfortunately, is a very bad player in today's modern-day slavery. And we have to pay fair wages. Actually, we have to pay living wages to change that. This also is not a checkbox. It's not, hey, we source coffee, all done. We have to keep pushing into this conversation. When we needed t-shirts printed, it wasn't, let's just go find a low-cost shirt. We wanted to put the same intentionality into buying t-shirts that we did into buying our coffee. Because just like coffee, textile is a bad player in human slavery. So we found shirts that were printed and made in India by women who've been rescued out of the sex slave trade. We continue to push into our farmers. The coffee you're enjoying is our newest direct trade relationship. Alejandra is here. She's going to be at the coffee table after this break, and you can learn more about her farm there. The second group of people, you know, the story of supplying well ends real fast if I'm a jerk as a boss, right? We talked a lot about that yesterday. How are we investing in our team? We have some great byproducts when we do that. When your team is happy and healthy, then your company is happy and healthy. But the root of what I'm trying to get at is I want to come to work at a great team. So that's the motivation for me to come and build into my team. So how are we continuing to build in our team members? This third group is probably my biggest surprise as I started to really identify these in the coffee business. And it is important. How do we love our customers through our business? I remember we were trying to put on our website, okay, how do we tell the story and share the story of what we're working on? And we were in a team meeting, and the team said, no, we do not want to tell that story. It caught me off guard. I said, well, why not? People should buy our coffee because it's the best coffee in Cincinnati. The fact that it's a good story doesn't matter. There was a lot of truth in that. I think what they were really trying to say is we don't want to sell a guilt purchase. People should buy our coffee because it's worth buying. I find that a lot of nonprofits might struggle with this. In my experience, the nonprofit is, especially if there's a social enterprise element, they have the mission, and the mission is their why, and they're trying to sell a product or service to help fuel that mission. But the product and service needs to have that same why attention, right? We've all experienced this. When I was a kid, I sold popcorn for, I don't know, band uniforms. And it's not that it was bad popcorn, but it wasn't worth what we were charging for it. And at the end of the day, most people probably would have preferred to give me $5 or $10 instead of buying a product they really didn't need. So how do we make sure that we have that intentionality? If you are an organization that has a strong mission outside of the product or service, make sure that you apply the same why intentionality to that. The fourth group is probably the most difficult, but it is extremely important. How are we loving our competitors? How are we treating them the way we want to be treated? You know, it kind of makes me sad. It breaks my heart that ethically traded coffee is something that's special. That should be the baseline. So how do we celebrate the other competitors that are doing that same intentionality? There's several roasters in Cincinnati that have that same mission built in. How do we celebrate that? How do we cheer them on while being in competition with one another? You know, the goal is to make the pie bigger, not fight over the small piece of the pie, right? We've seen this play out well in the craft beer scene. I think part of the popularity is that there's a lot of breweries, they're all fun to try, and it's actually making an impact into taking away from the bigger beer companies. The saying goes, a rising tide raises all ships. So how are we applying that intentionality to our competitors? How are we playing our role in our community? What am I doing to invest in Cincinnati, and more specifically Laughlin, which is a community just north of the city? Laughlin is a poorer community, and we're a premium coffee roastery. So already there's a bit of a gap. What am I doing to work to bridge that gap? How am I creating jobs in our community? The DNA of our company is actually to supply coffee shops. Many coffee shops, even if they don't realize it, are creating safe environments for people to have healthy conversations. I would argue that this is one of the biggest needs in our society today, right? We don't know how to talk to each other anymore. We can see it in our political climate. We can see it on social media rants. Fostering healthy conversation is a small example of a way that an organization can be investing in their community. How are we investing in our environment? This is a big one. A lot of corporations are really putting a lot of intentionality on having a cleaner footprint. Putting that into the environment is really loving people on the other side of the planet. We all share this space. And so when we work to invest in the environment, we're really loving everybody on the planet. I do want to point out that it is critical to do small steps in each of these areas. When I started to really kind of see all this through my experience at La Terza, we weren't doing much with the environment category, and we couldn't do a big leap. We didn't want to move to a LEED certified building. Again, we want to invest in Laughlin. We didn't have the money to retrofit our building, but I could do something small. I called a recycling company, and we have a recycling dumpster and initiated a recycling program at our facility. The reality is, La Terza is maybe 50% of where I want to be in terms of our social impact, and I can't get to 100, but I can get to 51. And what gets me most excited is when businesses that are for-profit are learning about investing love into their aspects of their business. They might be a 0. I can't get them to 100. I can't get them to 50. Let's get to 1. Or if they're a 10, let's go to it from 10 to 11. The small steps are absolutely critical when we are working in these areas of impact. This last group is probably the most important. How do we love ourselves? It's also very easy to overlook. How do we invest into a healthier work-life balance? The reason why this is so important is if we don't take the steps necessary, and it is a process, again, it's a small step process to learn to love ourselves, we're going to burn out real fast in loving other people. Just the fact that you're in this room, you're probably already bent like me, that you try to care about that other person more than you do yourself. And that's an amazing quality, but loving yourself is an important piece. So how are you investing into that work-life balance? I am writing a book on this topic, so if you want to learn more about that, you can see my website, daviddgaines.com. I'm a co-founder of a website called Buy Better Stories. It's a directory website that lists businesses that have a clear double or triple bottom line. So if you're a consumer and you're wanting to buy your services and products from these organizations, this is a great resource. If you're in here and you are a social enterprise, please make sure you connect with us because we want to hear your story and share it. Also, at the same table as the Social Enterprise Alliance, I'm part of the Cincinnati chapter. We would love to make sure you're connected to other people that are doing some amazing things in the city. If you're from out of the country, it is a national organization, or in the US, it's a national organization, and Caroline will be at the booth as well. And again, if you want phenomenal coffee, it's outside, or let'sharethecoffee.com. Let me leave you with this. What is one seed that you can plant to grow your social impact? And if you remember any one thing, remember this: big trees started as small seeds. Thank you.